Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's a Full 40 with Chris and Rob, part of the Stay Tuned Network, brought to you by Nova Insider. We are coming to you after the Providence loss, boo.
Yes.
From Gimlet Media.
Part of Spotify.
Part of Spotify studio in Brooklyn. We are in a podcast studio.
Yeah, because they actually acquired us for a few $1 million. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Probably life-changing amount of money.
Right.
No, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But we are actually at Gimlet Media in a podcast studio. So you'll notice the sound quality
might be a little better. Just to be clear, we're not using any better equipment.
Yeah.
Because we're like looking at this podcast stuff here, and it's like, well, I don't have time to fucking figure that out right now.
Yeah, we actually don't know how to use the equipment, so we're using our crappy mic.
Yeah. So
but at least the room is soundproof.
Yeah, the room is soundproof, so we probably sound quite clear.
And so my foot tapping will come across very clearly if it happens.
Yeah. But we don't have whiskey, so no glass clinking.
Alas, so what are you going to do?
All right. So a lot of ground to cover, and being respectful to our listeners' ears.
Because we haven't been.
Going for lengthy podcasts after lengthy podcasts recently. We're going to do our best to keep this one quick and short.
Yes. So we're done.
Yeah. Good week. Good. Nice talking to you. And as always, let's go now. But we had a quick week recap in terms of games. We really thought this was going to be a 2-0 week. I saw that Providence could be a potential trap game with Seton Hall coming up, and Providence is playing well lately. I still thought at home we would get this done.
Yeah.
But we didn't. So let's start with the St. John's game. The tail of that game was Sadiq Bey and Justin Moore.
100%.
Yeah. And we're just going to go ahead and announce it right now. Our ARF alpha dog of the week was Sadiq Bey. Even with his bullshit foul out against Providence, his show out against St. John's was bananas. Shooting wise, everything, he was just incredible.
Yeah, he was straight up killing it. Just an amazing all-around game, which is pretty much what Sadiq Bey does.
Yes. And as a result, we have a new segment on Sadiq's draft stock that we're going to go into after the Providence recap called BEYWATCH.
BEYWATCH, yes.
Yes.
We're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, we're excited about BEYWATCH because we think it's going to happen. There's a lot of opinions out there. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely. So stay tuned for that one.
Yeah, stay tuned. The story of the St. John's game was one of those annoying games that we were always in control and yet never in control. In that we were up big and then we let them back in, and then we got up again and we let them back in, and we never put them away. We ultimately won the game. We might have even led wire to wire, maybe a couple ties in there, something like that. I don't think we ever really ceded the lead to them for any reasonable or important period of time. But it was just never a game. It was a game that should have been a 20-point game. We should have just blown the doors off. And this team has, again, not shown the ability to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the takeaway from me for this week is this is exactly the team we've seen all season. You know what you're getting. Inconsistency and the inability.
You know what you're getting, and that you don't know what you're getting.
Yes. Yeah. And the inability to really slam the fucking door on somebody's face.
Yeah. Right.
We've had the opportunities. We've talked about it time and time again.
Yeah.
I just keep watching the team, and I keep seeing the same thing. So, when people ask, what's the ceiling on this team? Could they make a Final Four run? I mean, in theory, you could.
In theory, they can go lights out from three and kick a bunch of ass.
But statistically, we just haven't seen that. It's too up and down, and so my answer to that is very unlikely in my mind, and that's what we saw this week.
Yeah. And then the Providence game, man, that game was fucking brutal. It was absolutely garbage. 18 points in the first half is horrible. The refs never seem to let us. I am not a big blame the refs guy, but I can tell you I did not I thought the way the game was refereed, it got in our way of building any sort of rhythm, any sort of momentum. Fouling out Bay was bullshit. Like, I was just disappointed with the refereeing. I'm not blaming the referees. I'm blaming our three-point shooting.
Yeah.
Like, this game is our three-point shooting, but, like, shooting is a rhythm thing. So the game was choppy. It was messy. I didn't like it at all, and we shot like shit, and nothing happened right in this game.
I mean, I get what you're saying. When you look at the stat line, when you're a three-point dominant shooting team, and you shoot 15% from three, you're going to lose the game. The fact that we were in the game with a minute left
is a testament to the defense.
Is unbelievable.
Right.
I totally get your point, though. There were a few possessions kind of midway through the second half where we had knocked down the lead a bit. We were knocking at the door, and we got a couple like kind of BS soft foul calls that really stymied any ability to do that. That said, Providence gave us ample opportunity.
No question.
Not only to come back in that game, but to win the game, and we just were not able to do it. And again, this goes back to the inconsistency point. There are nights when we just kill people from three, and there are nights when we can't do anything. And what's different about this team, again, as we contrasted so many times with 18, is 18 was more consistent there, but they also had a really strong inside presence as well that you could work it when this wasn't working. And here we see when the three-pointers aren't falling, that's kind of what we got.
The 18 team had an inside presence in Jalen Brunson.
And Jalen Brunson and Omari. Totally.
Yeah.
The point being, there were lots of different ways to score the ball.
Look, let's say it this way. We shot 33s today. 30.
Yeah.
We hit 5.
It's not very good.
No. Our season average would be to hit like 12 or 13 of them. If we hit 10, we win in a blowout.
The issue with this team is that you can look at what our average is over the season, but the average doesn't reflect how we play because we have we'll have to run the numbers on this.
Delta.
We have a high variability there.
Yeah.
Like we've had multiple games where we shoot 20, 15% from three, and then other games where we shoot 50+%. So it's that fluctuation just isn't going to cut it come tournament time.
We wanted to give the the R5 Alpha Dog of the Week to Justin Moore.
Yeah.
But when you go 0 of 8 from 3.
I think he got 1 today. Let's give him a little credit.
Did he actually hit?
I think he had 1.
Either way, when you shoot that poorly in today's game, it's just tough to...
He had 1.
He had 1?
Yeah.
All right, well, either way, it doesn't matter. He still shot like 1 of 8.
Yeah. 1 of 8. Okay.
1 of 8.
1 of 8. So, yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty much the takeaway from this week,
I don't want to take too much away from basketball-wise just because I think that the poor shooting was and I expect poor shooting nights and bad shooting nights, but this was like total aberration in terms of how low it is. Like, it's one thing to shoot poorly and shoot like 20-25%. 15% is like god awful.
15%, and they were open looks too.
Yeah. It wasn't like from my point of view, it wasn't like we were firing up a bunch of like rocket missiles that were just guys draped all over us. Like, we had open looks.
Yeah.
Like, we moved the ball around, we got to open looks, got to open shooters, missed the jumper.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, we just don't have that many guys at this point that we can really rely on from a three-point percentage at this point. You've got typically Colin, Sadiq, and Moore.
Yeah.
And beyond that, it's kind of a crapshoot between J-Rob, Cole, and J-Rob, which we just found out.
That's what the guys
call him. So we've been calling him JRE. So if you know, it's J-Rob. Now we know. J-Rob and Samuels have just really been inconsistent there, so relying on them doesn't seem like something you should be doing as an in-the-know fan.
Yeah.
At least that's where I stand. Should we talk about Ed Cooley's suit game?
Well, yeah, that was also atrocious. I think that part of the reason we shot poorly was because we were looking at Ed Cooley's suit.
It's very distracting.
It was extremely distracting. It looked like, the old static television. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, well, it absolutely did. It was almost like there was a bright blue highlighter that, like, if you were a player and you quick pan, you'd be like, oh, I'd pan back because there's this bright blue thing here that my eyes are drawn towards.
Yeah. Do you know the beginning of like the all of the lights Kanye West video where it says like might cause epilepsy? I feel like every time they flash to him, like they should have given that warning.
I would
parental
agree with you.
advisory.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about, you need to look it up. Ed Cooley head on, and look, Ed Cooley, he's like a fine dresser. He doesn't stray too far from the norm
When he's not ripping his
when he's not ripping his pants, which
Yeah.
is one of like the all-time great suit moments in college basketball. He doesn't stray too far from his core, which is good. We respect that. Like, you know what you're bringing to the table, you stick with it. Ed clearly said, you know what, I got Villanova on the radar. I'm bringing my blues, baby. We're taking down the Nova Nation. He just went so overboard. It was like one of the brightest blue suits I've seen.
It was the suit, it was the vest, and then he also had like a checkered shirt on underneath it.
Oh, I missed the checkered
and like
shirt
a
too.
flowery tie.
Oh,
It was bananas. It was
Oh my God.
it was the clash of everything.
It was quite interesting. I guess that's the style they rock at Providence. Maybe you went to like the Men's Warehouse in Providence. You're like, yeah, man, put this together. You'll be good to go. Jay's probably like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Yeah, well,
Anyway.
the Shaq Fit Man Play of the Week, though, did come in the Providence game.
Mm.
Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, whose game is surprisingly below the rim.
Yes.
They got to work on that in the offseason.
Yeah.
But his game is surprisingly above the rim. Had a rim rocker
He did.
on a putback.
At a key point in the game,
At a key point in the game that I thought, like, I think it got the game down to like 2.
Yeah.
And you thought, okay, with that rim rocker, crowd's into it. Like, maybe we got a shot here of, like, actually closing out and stealing a win back from Providence. But alas, didn't work. But, man, that was a hell of a play. That was that was a rim rocker. That was awesome. That's everything I've been looking for. He was, like, strong. He was tough. I loved it.
If we would have won that game, that would have been like on the highlight reel for this season. Like, boom, J-Rob just throws it down.
That and Slater had a great steal and breakaway and a good flush, which I saw he was actually very careful to make sure that although he dunked it, he kind of threw it through the hoop very carefully, made sure that there was no doubt that it went in, as opposed to going up like one-handed and trying to like windmill it down.
You are 100% spot on with that. He was very careful there.
Yeah.
Slate making the most of his minutes.
By the way, also like our free throw shooting was also poor. Like I think if we shot normally from free throw land like that, we might have also won the game despite our 3-point shooting. So a lot of bad shooting.
Yes.
Today, and we're willing to blame it on that. We held them to 58 points. Is like, and they've been playing very well, and they've been shooting well as a team. So, like, it's a tough loss. I'm just willing to say I'm going to throw that in the garbage because you also knew Colin was a little bit hobbled, and you toss it out because the shooting was literally that bad.
I kind of disagree with you here. Like, we've had too many discussions where you're like, oh, we can toss it out.
I have not said that before.
That's okay, fine. So maybe you haven't. But making that point of we can toss it out because it's an aberration, I think overlooks the point we made earlier that these aberrations happen on a regular basis. And therefore, this is just symptomatic of what this team actually does.
I might have said it after the Creighton game.
Yeah, anyway.
I might have.
You might have.
I'm like thinking through. I'm like racking my brain as we're sitting
We
here.
talk a lot. You probably said it at some point.
Yeah.
Anyway, so agree to disagree on that one. I think this is very representative of what this team does.
Yeah.
Should we do our new segment?
Yeah. Let's
The
do
BEYWATCH.
it. The BEYWATCH.
BEYWATCH, man. So I loved BEYWATCH growing up as a kid, by the way, for obvious reasons. David Hasselhoff's acting ability.
Yeah.
That's why I watched it.
Number one reason to like anything.
I think that's why most people watched BEYWATCH,
Yeah.
to be clear.
I mean, just a muscular guy running down the beach. That's what Sadiq Bey is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was the inspiration for the BEYWATCH.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in all sincerity, Sadiq Bey's game, we've talked about many times throughout the year. The reason we're highlighting it this week, we've got some revised NBA draft boards coming out. In particular,
The Athletic.
which is a reputable source.
Right. You have to pay to look at this article, okay? And they have Sam Facini who does it. He's a respected guy. He doesn't just put out bullshit. Like, The Athletic's business model is not clickbait.
Yeah.
Like, they actually avoid clickbait. So they're not incentivized to put high-name guys who everyone wants to see there so that they get a lot of clicks on their article because they want to show a lot of ads and the whole 9 yards. Like, their model is subscription-based. They're there for the serious reader who takes it seriously, etc. I'm not saying that what they say is golden and how it's going to play out, but all I'm saying is they actually take an unbiased perspective. I trust their point of view.
Yeah, and also they have, I always do like a little bit of a sanity check too. I'm like, oh, is somebody showing up there who makes absolutely no sense. As an example, I saw one the other day that had J-Rob on there, and I'm like, that's nice. I don't think there's any world in which J-Rob is getting drafted in the first round, so please stop.
Yes.
So we don't have those. So Saddiq Bey shows up at number 14.
14, Lotto.
That's Lotto.
Lotto.
Which, as we've talked about, if you're getting the first round guarantee, and if you're showing up in the Lotto, you're likely getting a first round guarantee.
Yeah, you're going.
You're going.
You're going.
So, given that, the BEYWATCH right now is looking good for Saddiq if you are into making money quickly.
Yes.
Which I would imagine most people are,
right.
Self-included.
Right, correct. Look, on the full 40, just to like level set here for people who might be new to the podcast, we know we got a lot of new listeners. Just to level set on our point of view on guys going early. Generally speaking, our take is if you have any sort of guarantee or it's pretty confident or people are confident in general, there seems to be a consensus that you are a first round pick. Our point of view is that you need to go, even if you're not a senior. Obviously, if you're a senior, then go. But you have to go. That's our point of view is go get paid.
Get your monies.
Get money. Because you don't know if you're going to have that opportunity. It's important to you to do it. Like it's a life-changing sum. Like, go and get your money. Spend it wisely. Make good decisions. Make informed decisions. But go get that money. So that's kind of our point of view in general on that. So we're going to be naturally more inclined to say, hey, go.
Yeah.
And we'll deal with the team consequences later. We have a deep team next year. We're going to be good. So we're taking this attitude of we're not going to speak about hope. We're going to speak about what we think is going to happen.
Yes.
And so right now, as Rob said, the BEYWATCH is looking like Bey is gone.
Yeah.
After the season.
Our second data point too, Bleacher Report, much less reputable from a draft stock position or draft stock evaluation, also has Bey at number 15. So in that same range. But
yeah,
tack it up for what it's worth.
Yeah.
BEYWATCH out the door in my mind as we sit here today.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
So bouncing off of the topic of Bey going to the draft.
Yes.
Which we have him in.
Yep.
Let's talk about the guys who are already there.
Let's do it. Little heart monitor?
Little heart monitor segment.
I think we need to lead off the heart monitor with the namesake himself, the meme king, Josh Hart.
Josh Hart.
So Josh Hart has absolutely leaned into his reputation as like the king of memes and the source of memes in the NBA.
Josh Hart Meme Factory.
Meme Factory, absolutely. Most of the time, he is the one initiating the meme. He's very smart about it. He's embraced the high five thing. He knows his reputation. He plays into it. This time, however.
No.
He did not have that control.
No. He got a LeBron.
Let's call it what it is. He got a dick to the face.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to check it out if you haven't seen it already. It was all over ESPN. LeBron posted it on Instagram. Yeah. LeBron just goes up for this monster dunk and
just
boom, right in Josh's face.
A whole lot of LeBron James.
A whole lot of LeBron
in Josh Hart's face.
Yeah, it was pretty golden.
Rihanna, like the Rihanna.
Yeah,
was like, has anyone checked on Josh Hart? People made other memes about it. It was the story. It was unfortunately the story of the NBA this year. Although I did see
that was a story of the NBA this year.
I meant this week. NBA
recap: Josh Hart gets LeBron right in his face. Oh my God.
One of my favorite bits, though, of this was like the next game, like LeBron James questionable due to sore groin. And people were like, damn, Hart, like, you got a hard head.
That's pretty good. I totally missed that. Yeah. Oh, my God.
All
right.
So, yeah, we got to start there. Unfortunately for Josh, he was on the receiving end of maybe the poster of the season.
It could be. It could be. That's one of those great ones. All right. So some quicker hits around the league for our guys. It was a pretty good week across the league. Eric dropped 23 points on 7 of 14 shooting a couple nights ago against LeBron and the Lakers.
Yeah.
Granted, it was a loss like most of his games are. But hey, Eric keeps producing, so kudos to him. And he always gets like a nice highlight, and the Warriors just keep spotlighting him. So good for you, Eric. Just keep embracing it. Bring your dunk fest to the table. I love it. A shout out to another one of our great 2018 national champions, Michael Bridges.
Michael,
big Michael fan.
Big Mike guy.
We haven't spotlighted him enough. He's been playing actually a ton of minutes for the Suns on a very regular basis and has actually been filling up the stat sheet pretty well. Had a few double-digit games in a row this past week, is just crushing it on the steal front. He had like a game of 4 steals, a game of 3 steals. So he's doing it all, again, on a not great Suns team. They're a little bit more competitive than the Warriors are for sure. But Michael just getting the job done. Just to be clear, we know his name is not Michael Bridges.
Mikhail.
Anyway, so those are two. I think the other one I do want to call out is Jalen.
Yeah, Jalen, torn labrum, right?
Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
So it looks like he got a torn labrum or partially torn labrum. He is going to need surgery, although he can play through it. It seems to be a pain management issue.
Yes. For some of our listeners who are experts on pain management, I know there are a few. It
seems to be a pain management issue, but he'll be able to play through the rest of the season and through the playoff run. And post Maverick season, he is going to need surgery.
Yeah, it's never a great one for a basketball player.
So we send our T's and P's
to T's and P's to Jalen.
T's and P's to Jalen and his shoulder.
Oh my gosh!
But it's good to see that he doesn't have to miss it because his team has been on a wild ride.
Yeah,
it's been a fun ride, like
a way more than expected ride for the Mavs.
Yeah, Luka is ridiculous.
He's very
good. The whole team's good. So I'm happy that that's the worst of it, and Jalen can kind of play through it and get to experience the playoffs on the court.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
As a key piece of that roster.
Last part of the Heart Monitor today, we can just spend a minute on it. We talked a little bit about it on a previous podcast. This week, Kyle got his jersey retired. Had his family with him there. His kids are the cutest, by the way.
Oh, wait. Let's stop right there.
Okay.
His little kid.
Yeah.
That suit, he should teach Jay Wright and Ed Cooley how to dress. Because his suit and sneaker game was absolute fire.
I think you bring up a good point. Kyle was styling too.
Oh, he was. And so both those kids were, but specifically the little one. We posted it on Twitter. Check it out at the Full 40. Big ups to Kyle. It was fun.
And also there were a couple of the guys that he played with. I think you said Foy and A-Ray were there.
Yeah. And Nardi, obviously, because Nardi's on the coaching staff. But I just wanted to touch base on that for just a second because for me, it was special to see specifically those 3 guys on the court together. They took a picture with Kyle's jersey retirement. Yeah. Now all 3 of them have their jerseys retired, Foy, Ray, and Lowry. And I just want to kind of harken back to really the teams that jump-started the Jay Wright era, the 04-05 year and the 05-06 year, and specifically the 05-06 year. I don't know if it was because, Rob, you and I were freshmen, but that team, despite, and I'm putting air quotes around only getting to the Elite Eight, despite, having the talent, to even go further, they ran into the juggernaut Florida teams from the Joakim Noah teams. But despite that team holds a place in Villanova history and lore, and fans love that team in a way that even some other teams in Villanova history that even did better. I think if you ask a lot of fans, I love the 08-09 team. That was our senior year.
Sure.
To me, that was a very special moment. And, obviously breaking through the Final Four means a lot nationally. But in our own house, in our own Villanova family, I almost feel like the 05-06 team still is almost people still put that team above the 08-09 team. Despite not getting to that step of the Final Four.
I see what you're getting at. And maybe that's because there was, it corresponds, obviously, so closely with Jay's start and kind of Jay's growth and that being kind of the signature breakthrough. And I think there's a lot of like, it was those guys' team and they kind of like grew up together part of it, but a lot of great characters on that team.
I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it was Jay's kind of return of the program to prominence. But man, I would love to do on this podcast, and like we might have to talk to some connections to try and hook it up. But I'd love to do an oral history of that year, because that year I felt like the entire campus and Villanova community was just lockstep with that team. Like, just all over it, just like following it so closely. It felt like the energy and the buzz around it. I'm telling you, for people listening, like the Pavilion and the Wells Fargo Center were absolutely bonkers rocking every single night that year in a way that I can't remember another unit or squad that had that same kind of vibe in the stadium.
Yeah.
There was just something in the air about that team.
Yeah, no.
I don't know how to put my finger to it. The one thing that points out is that we played an early season game against Oklahoma at the Pavilion. And it was like 4 versus 5.
I remember that, yeah.
Right? And it was like the student section was absolutely slam packed. It was rocking back and forth. They must have allowed like 2,500 students in that.
There was a lot of people.
There was a lot of people there. And specifically Kyle, and they kept showing it on the replay, he made like an up and under.
Oh, I remember
high off the glass.
Yeah.
That was like bananas.
Yeah, I mean, you could say Kyle Lowry's a pretty good player.
Yeah. And so you had that one. Then you had the UConn game later that year, which was just ridiculous. I would love, again, as I said, to the extent that we have listeners who are members of the 0506 team, I am saying it now. You have an open invite. Reach out to us at the Full 40. We'd love to have you on. I specifically want an oral history of that season, specifically the UConn game, because that UConn game is gone down along with the Kansas game the year before as like games that built this program.
Yeah, for sure. No, I love it.
All right, a little bit of a tangent there, but I needed to call that out.
No, that's, you're spot on there. Cool. So I think we can call it a day on the HART monitor. For our listeners' ears, let's just do a quick look ahead, because we are up on the last week of the regular season, and we seem to have some clarity on how things are looking to shake out since we lost today. Yeah.
So this week, with the loss today, we fell back into a clear third place. We're actually closer to fourth, and we got Seton Hall and Marquette going as we speak, but Seton Hall is blowing out Marquette right now.
Yeah.
At Marquette.
It looks pretty.
So Seton Hall is now taking its place as like the leader coming into the final week, as looking like they're going to get the title. Though Seton Hall and Creighton do play, and Seton Hall also has to play us.
Yeah.
Seton Hall's got a tough week coming up, but Seton Hall is putting a stamp on this week and looking like the favorite to win the Big East regular season championship now.
Yeah, Seton Hall is going to go to 13-3. So we're at 11-5 at this point. So
I got Creighton for a win tomorrow too, so they're going to go to 12-4.
Yeah, so you'd basically have to have Seton Hall lose both games, which means Creighton wins one, and
Creighton's got to win against. They got to lose at Georgetown at home.
Which
it's
is
not going to happen.
Yeah.
So Seton Hall or Creighton's getting the 1 seed here.
Yeah.
I think Seton Hall's got in the driver's seat, because I think Seton Hall is probably going to beat. Well, yeah, I'm probably predicting that they're going to beat us.
Yeah.
Because we're playing at Seton Hall on Wednesday. But Seton Hall appears to be in the driver's seat. We look to be the 2 or the 3 seed. We could slip to the 4. That depends on what Providence does this week. Because Providence got 2 home games versus Xavier and DePaul. So Providence looks like they're going to go 2-0. So this is actually looking a little bit dicey. We do not want to fall to the 4.
Right. And why don't we want to fall to the 4?
Because we don't want to play in the 2:30 game on Thursday.
Yeah.
And so we want to be in the 2-3 slot, in the night slot at MSG on Thursday night, and play through that.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting, because we only have a game up on Providence.
Yeah.
And we have a tough week, as we just mentioned.
Also, one thing to point out, like, if you're the 4 seed, you have to play the 5, and that looks like it could be Marquette, who we struggled with twice. Butler and Xavier are looking to be the 6 and the 7 slots.
Yep.
And then you have Georgetown or St. John's as the 8-9, and then DePaul. So like, you want to be in that 2-3 slot. You don't want to be in that 4 bracket.
Yeah.
Because then you got to play the 5 seed in your first round.
Totally. So given our 2 games this week, what do you think? We've got Seton Hall first at
Seton Hall. Now, at Seton Hall for us, yes, it's a home game for Hall. I do think there'll be a lot of Villanova fans there. A lot of fanfare going on around that game. I still think we lose.
Interesting.
I still think we lose. Seton Hall has righted the ship after like a little mini swale. Little mini swale in February.
Swale, is that a word?
Oh, that's a word.
Swale?
Swale. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Heard it here first.
Swale. All right.
So I think Seton Hall is going to beat us, unfortunately. I do think we pick up the final win of the season at Georgetown next Saturday. And Georgetown, St. John's, and DePaul all missed the NCAA tournament. Everyone else, though, 7 teams in for the Big East.
That's crazy. All right, so I'm going to disagree with you on a couple things. I think we go 2-0 this week.
Boom.
I think
calling it 2-0.
I think we're 2-0. I think our inconsistency gives us a bounce back against Seton Hall.
Okay.
Come back firing, and Georgetown, the wheels have just fallen off Georgetown.
I expect to beat Georgetown.
So for me, it ends up 2-0.
They got injured players. I just don't.
They have like no scholarship players left. They're running with no bench right now. It's terrible. They gave me a call to see if I wanted to play, and I was like, I'm kind of busy, guys. So I just gave them a pass.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think 2-0 this week. I think we end up with the 3 seed.
Okay. 3 seed would be fine. I'm fine with the 3 seed.
I'm fine with that as well, too. So, yeah, wow, it's really, the math is really playing out 7 teams making the tournament.
It's looking like it. I think
Xavier on the right side of the bubble?
Xavier is on the right side of the bubble for now. Remember, the bubble is weak. I mean, everyone says that every year.
I was going to say,
every
single year
the bubble's weak. But this year, everyone's bad. Everyone's bad. There's a lot of teams who are around 500. There's people who are saying Purdue, who is like 1 game over 500, is going to make the NCAA tournament.
That's kind of nuts.
Yeah. So Providence punched their ticket in my mind today with a home Q1 win. An away Q1 win at us. They're now up to 17-12. I think they probably win another 2 this week. That's in the 19-12, and then pick up another win theoretically in the Big East. Boom. They got a 20-win season. They're making the NCAA tournament. And then, Butler and Marquette are pretty much locks. And like the top 3 of us, Creighton and Hall, are all locks. So that leaves really Xavier and Providence is the only question mark. But again, as I said, I think Providence is punched. And I think Xavier is just the only team left to secure their bid.
Pretty exciting. And as we've discussed before, it's not just about how many teams you get in the tournament. It's what noise you can make. This year, though, different than others, the Big East is well positioned to make some noise.
Oh, I think so very much, because I think no matter what seed Creighton's coming from, I'm picking them to go pretty far. Creighton, they're unbelievable.
It doesn't matter who I am. I do not want to see Creighton in my bracket.
No.
Or Seton Hall for that matter.
No. I could see Creighton doing like kind of what we did in 08-09 in that Final Four run, where we just obliterated 2 teams in a row to make it to the Elite 8.
They're a very good team.
Oh, they're real good.
They're scrappy.
Creighton's really good. Like, if you told me right now Creighton's going to win the whole thing, I'd be like, okay, I can buy it.
It's not that far-fetched.
No.
Period.
No. And I think Seton Hall could be right there, too. I wouldn't be blown if, like, 4 teams make the Sweet 16 from the Big East, and maybe another 3 make it to the Elite 8, and, like, 2 make it to the Final Four. I think it's possible that the Big East gets 2 teams.
I think we could definitely get 2 teams in the Final Four. I think those 2 teams are Seton Hall and Creighton.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's going to be. I don't think it's us. I'm sitting here saying it's going to be us. You could get a favorable draw. You could shoot really well, but absent both of those things happening, I'm not seeing a path to the Final Four for us.
You know what's crazy? Creighton brings back everybody.
Again?
Yep.
Fuck.
Yep. Creighton's going to be really fucking good next year.
Yeah. We're also going to be really fucking good next year.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
By the way, regardless of Bay.
Yes.
Yes, Bay or no Bay.
Yeah.
We're still going to be really good.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Should we give our listeners a couple minutes back?
I guess so. So, yeah, we're going to give it all the way back to you guys.
Under a full 40.
Under the full 40 minutes on this week's podcast. Do have some special programming announcements to make.
Do it.
So next week we're going to be back after the final game of the regular season to recap where everything stood and to look ahead at the Big East tournament.
Yep.
We are going to be podcasting live recording.
Oh, yeah. This is actually kind of fun.
Yeah. We're doing a live recording of the full 40 with D-Ray.
Yeah.
Not fully confirmed yet, but we are supposed to be doing a live recording with D-Ray at Compton.
At Compton Ale House.
Crompton.
Crompton Ale House?
Crompton.
Not Compton Ale
At Compton Ale House might be a different scene. Crompton Ale House on 26th Street. I think it's 26th.
I don't know what it is.
We'll firm up next week. Right before our first game of the Big East tournament. And then we have an interview that we did actually today.
Yeah.
But we will be releasing in between the Big East tournament, in between the selection show and the NCAA tournament with Chuck Everson from the 1985 team.
Yep.
And we are working on a couple other interviews to be doing.
To be confirmed.
To be confirmed in that week as well. And we're looking to release a handful of interview podcasts right in that little bunch between selection show and
just give you all your Villanova content to get you jazzed up for the tournament.
We know that that's when everyone wants to listen to podcasts about Villanova, and that's when everyone's jazzed up. So we're going to give it to you all right then and there.
I love it.
All right. Let's wrap it up. Thanks for listening. And as always, let's go Nova.